You know what, Chris? There's a guy that is sporting the number 4 in Honolulu blue this year that we have not talked enough about. I think in this channel, we talked about him right away. I was on vacation, and that man is DJ Chark. And I think it's because we didn't know what to expect. We give him 10 million for a 1-year contract, and we're like, what is this guy going to do? But I want to ask you this question. We're going to pull up an article here in a little bit. But what does this guy bring to our offense right now in Detroit?
I think we were so desperate for a wide receiver of any kind. Your name could be anything. That when we signed him, we were like, let's go. And then I think what happened was both you and I, and this is typical with a Brad Holmes move, you're like, okay. And then you dig in a little deeper and you're like, actually, this is nice. Like, this is really nice. Look at this guy, man. He's fast. He's long. He's big. He's strong. He's just had a couple off years just with his Jacksonville experience and then getting injured. And then you find out he wants to be here because of our culture. And, it's like, oh, wait, now Goff's got him, Reynolds another year, St. Brown. So you're right. Chark is a guy that we're just not talking about enough. And he's a huge part. And we're really counting on him to do something this year.
Yeah. And I think the other huge part is he's at training camp. He's healthy. And anytime a guy misses what was 13 games last year, you think to yourself, like, is he healthy? Because when you miss that many games, you start thinking to yourself, is 7 months enough time to get fully back? Because he had that ankle injury, and I think we all thought he would, and we saw videos of him looking like he was walking fine, even jogging fine. He always seemed like every time somebody new was on our team, it seemed like he was there greeting them in a video and stuff like that. So he seems like he's the consummate professional, a good teammate. But I think what we forget, and I think he was overshadowed. I think we drafted Jameson Williams, and it was our shiny new toy that we forgot we already had a good, not reliable, but we already had a fast car in the garage.
Yeah.
And we had a guy that could do things in DJ Chark. This is a sub 4.4 guy. And when you add that to his speed, we sat there, and I know us in videos, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. I don't know if you said it. I know I said it. But I was talking about I'm so excited for Jameson Williams to get back so he can take the top off the defense. Don't we already kind of have that guy in Chark?
And, dude, you're so right. And this is what adds to what you just said is that he loves the culture. He loves being here. He said it's
never going to get sick of hearing that.
No, I am not either.
Ever.
It's so true. Compared to the Jaguars, because we were like we were Jaguars 2.0. We got Patricia's sending people out the locker room, so we were there. We know it now. Not as bad as Urban. I mean, that guy, come on, but bad. Here's just a cool quote that you and I both loved. So right down here, he's like, "Hey, guys aren't here trying to get in top 10 lists on ESPN because we've seen that, right? Top 100, top this. We're here trying to set a standard for each other." And it's like, boom, love it. Love that line right there.
Yeah, people trying to go out, get on top 10 on Sports Center, get their bag of money and show that they have amazing ability. Instead, they're like, no, we're trying to set the standard for what happens. And here's the beautiful thing about that. If you're setting the standard for what you're supposed to do, if you're making sure we're running routes the right way, that you're in good communication with the quarterback, that you are doing the right things, getting in the right shape and all that kind of stuff, guess what comes with that? Top 10 lists.
Exactly.
Like, that's just how it works. You don't get on a top 10 list just by trying to do crazy things. You get on a top 10 list by being at combining talent with hard work. And then all of a sudden, good things happen because you put yourself in position to succeed. And that's what they're doing.
And that's what I'm excited about is we have, it's not just Charks, not just Williams, St. Brown, Reynolds, Trinity Benson. There's some guys that's like, Khalif Raymond.
And that's not even Quintez Cephas.
Right.
Did you see that video of his catch in day one? And it's just like, okay, that's a good catch. But like, that's supposedly our 6th wide receiver.
Right. That is exactly right. And then just one more with DJ Chark. He said,
okay,
there's no games, no gimmicks. You just come in and do work. And man, it's a guy that all of a sudden, again, we haven't talked about him enough because 4'4", tall, team guy, loves it here, wanted to be here, wanted to be the main guy. It's like, oh yeah, forgot about you, man. Like you just said, we're talking about Trinity Benson and man, who's our sixth, who can make the team? It's like Chark is our number one, and let's go. I feel good about it.
Yeah, and I don't think he's this guy that's going to push 100 catches. I don't
Right.
think he's this guy that's going to go off for 1,500 yards. No, he's a guy who's going to be in that 50, 60 catch range, in that 1,000-yard range, but he's a big play guy that is going to alter the defense. And sometimes it's not just numbers. Maybe you only have 45 catches, but the defense has to put a safety over on your side and play the deep ball, which completely opens up the middle for Hawkinson, for St. Brown, and they eat up all the catches. And everybody's like, well, why are we paying Chark? And because he does that. Yep. Right. And so those are the little things that I think a lot of people don't see. And I think when you look at Chark and he talks about the professionalism here, when he talks about setting a standard, when he has talked about doing his job and looking at stuff like that, he understands that doesn't mean that he's going to have numbers that are out of control.
Nope.
He's supposed to go and he's supposed to do his job. And I don't want to sound like, Belichick or something like that, but that's what he's going to do, which brings me to another thing. There was an article that was talking about, and I saw it in The Athletic. I saw it on Pride of Detroit. I've seen it everywhere I go. Something that stood out to every writer was the way these wide receivers were interacting with each other. So when they were doing different drills, or even if only one of them was in a drill. So for example, Amon-Ra St. Brown went to do a punt returning drill because he's in the punt returning competition. I think he's just a backup guy for it because we better not start him as punt returner and at wide receiver. I don't like that.
I don't
like that. And so, but you have Chark and Williams and Reynolds. They're all just chilling there watching him talking to each other. And you don't know what they're talking about, but they're not just, talking about whatever. It's like they're pointing out things. They're looking at like, what are we supposed to do? Like, how does that make you feel when you hear that this wide receiver room is like together day one, day two?
Yeah, it reminds me of, and sorry for any Sparty fans, but I know I'm going to talk about Michigan just for a second. It reminds me of what they did last offseason, where that offensive line, you just heard all like they're just getting really close, and offensive line's a different thing. But then you see it out on the field where it's like, dang, like every week, and it's just like you can tell these guys. Everyone says they've got a relationship. Everyone says they're working hard together. But man, I think we're going to see it on the field, and I think to what you said about how, man, Chark may not catch a lot of balls and stuff, but each guy has a specific role. And I don't know if Brad Holmes, maybe, he's that good. I think maybe he did plan it this way, but man, every guy has a specific role that opens up another guy.
Right.
And so you're like, yeah, I'm rooting for St. Brown because, man, that's going to open up the outside and vice versa and the whole thing. Right. So I just think, man, I just a lot of good things from this aspect coming out right now. And we're trying, you and I, like, we keep saying, like, we got to do like a negative video, whatever.
Well, then give us a negative story to read.
Exactly. It's like everything has been upward. And this is no different. These wide receivers, and you start looking at it, it's like, I get it. So it's exciting.
Well, there was that Pride of Detroit article where we talked about some of the risers. They had two fallers, and the two fallers were Julian Okwara, and the only reason he was a faller is because Hutchinson went above him, which duh. Yeah. And the other one was like offensive rhythm. And it's just because we're trying to become more of an up-tempo offense. So it's just trying to figure out what that looks like in day two of training. It's like, are those even negatives? Like, I don't know. I think that's just kind of natural.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll talk about negative when it comes. And there's been some negative things. Greg Bell got hurt, undrafted free agent. Like, I mean, there are some negatives. You could spin the Will Harris and Ife Melifonwu switching positions as a negative because they weren't good enough at the positions they were drafted at. That's could do these things. But I think this coaching staff and this GM, Brad Holmes, has shown that, like, hey, he kind of knows what he's doing. And when they switch positions, when they do these things, it's worked out in the past. So benefit of the doubt, believe in the best, and until they prove it wrong.
Exactly. And we'll just keep on this and keep looking at this and keep providing nuggets to everybody on training camp, because this team's forming, and we're not that bad. And I gotta convince myself, because I don't want to almost like, I want to believe, wait, isn't this supposed to be like a major rebuild and it's probably gonna take 3 years? And like, I don't want to get too excited, but I'm also like, we're not that bad as a team, and it's just exciting to see the team come together, obviously throughout training camp, then in Hard Knocks. So it's gonna be great.
That's awesome. That's another video on why we're not as bad as you think. I think
That's
so.
right.
We just figured out right here. We'll shoot that one next.
Yeah,
so,
right.
no. I think that's good stuff, man. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching our videos. We love doing this. We love your support. Hit that subscribe button below, hit the like button, and leave us a comment. We love reading the comments. We love chatting, and we'll see you on the next one.